some stressful things going on and we're trying to debate through it. And after the call was over, he sent me a chat in Microsoft Teams and said, "Want to vent?" Hi, I'm Steve, CEO of Campus Store, and this is a video series about how to manage your company and your employees in a situation where the world around them all seems to be falling apart. These are just some of my thoughts about how I've tried to get better at being present as a leader for my company when I'm not physically in the office. And I'd start by saying, first, this is super hard. Look, there's no body of work to leverage. So many of us as leaders will hit different points in our career where you can call on a mentor, you can read up on things online, you can listen to TED Talks, etc. There is none of that stuff for what's happening right now, just zero. So first, I think when we're talking about being present when you're not, I think of like the airplane safety talk about, secure your mask before securing the mask of somebody else next to you. And so the first thing you got to do is try to clear your head and be effective. I think the best you can do is accept what we know is kind of out of your control. Focus. I know for me, I've started writing a lot more. I think, one way to maybe get yourself grounded and ready to lead and ready to be present even when you're not is to write things down, clear your head, and try to do everything you can because you have a lot more on your mind now than you did pre-pandemic. Also, another tip, sounds super simple, vent. I know at my company, I have a CTO that I've worked with for a very long time. And we were on a conference call and it was, some stressful things going on and we're trying to debate through it. And after the call was over, he sent me a chat in Microsoft Teams and said, "Want to vent?" And I laughed. I've never gotten that message before. And I thought, sure, but I made it safe for him, right? You go ahead and vent to me. And this isn't a performance review. Just tell me what's bothering you. And then with, very little fanfare, when he was done, he typed, "I'm done, your turn." And I went through and, several lines. And again, it was work related, but I went through a bunch of stuff that was just on my mind and got it off my chest and wasn't going through it certainly in a way to say, "You help me solve this. Just let me get this off my chest," through my fingers. And when I was done, he said, typed to me, "I feel better." And I said, "So do I. Have a good weekend." And that was it. It's okay to feel like you got a lot going on right now and there's no roadmap, but you still have to be a leader. So once you've done that, then you're going to try to lead. Then you're going to lead a bunch of other people who candidly going through similar stuff. It's different, but it's very uncertain for them as well. I think asking and then really listening is what's super important. And it's really part of being present as a leader is really listening. And that takes some discipline. That also means clearing your mind. That also means not thinking about your turn to speak or other things that great ideas you have while somebody else is talking to you. It may be an employee venting to you. It may be an employee with an idea. It may be a client. But as a leader, you have to be present through listening. Don't be afraid to ask for advice. A lot of leaders, I think, might think it's taboo or you think you don't have some place to go. I encourage people as part of being present to ask employees sometimes for advice. Who I've learned to ask for guidance from time to time? My kids. You might be surprised at how fresh like their perspective is on something. And candidly, if you can't, the old cliche phrase, if you can't distill it for somebody to understand, sort of for somebody not in your field to understand, then maybe you really don't understand the issue. But you might be surprised the advice you get. You also might be advised how incredibly helpful it is for you to think about issues differently just by articulating that to someone else. And also, I think finally, to help you be present is realizing that like crap's just going to happen. There's a lot of uncertainty right now. We don't know vaccine schedules, when it's going to end, macroeconomic conditions. If you let yourself get too caught up in that stuff, you can never be present. If you walk into your virtual office every day and you're thinking, gosh, I don't know how much physical space I'm going to need. I don't know, what these clients are going to do. I don't know how many of my contracts are going to persist or not. You're going to be overwhelmed with that almost all day. And then actually, ironically, you're then going to burn time where you could have been much more effective and present. So I think it's really important to just, easier said than done for sure, but realize that some of this stuff is just completely out of our control Nobody has the answers. It's unprecedented for all of us. It's really unique, but I hope that some of this might be in some way a little bit helpful, because we can't lead if we're not present.